G'day, Simo Ed again.
Hi there.
We're back for another episode of all things karting and business.
We are indeed.
What are we going to talk about today, Ed?
We're going to talk about how to construct the perfect offer for your kart track.
6 clear deadlines.
Yes.
Now, I'm a big fan of this, and it works well. We had 2 deadlines for the karting spectacular. There was one which was set up to entice them to make an immediate decision. I think it ran for 5 days. It was early bird, half price.
Yeah. It's that old adage, isn't it? If it wasn't for the last minute, nothing would ever happen.
Yep.
And deadlines are super smart in your marketing. And if your marketing that's going out without a deadline, you've really got to question whether it's being done correctly. There are instances where it's not appropriate, but anything, certainly as a track owner, anything going out without a deadline in, you should just stop for a second, get whoever's behind that marketing just to explain why there's no deadline in there, because it will just supercharge your sales very quickly. So in that analogy I gave you earlier on about layering value, the offer today, notice there's your deadline, it's today. So we're not doing this every week. Like, you're going to come and do it today, here's your offer today. Typically, it's the old, if you've got a campaign and you're running a series of deadlines, and we saw this with the Spectacular, I think you're about to prove me wrong potentially, but I'm confident I won't be. If you've got 3 or 4 deadlines up to the offer, you will see a peak in sales just prior to every single deadline. So your sales, as they come in, you'll see them peak just before deadline. Now typically that will increase your sales. So if you've got a 3-week run up to something and you've got a deadline each week, if you just had one deadline at the end at 3 weeks and just said everybody aim at that,
come on the 3rd week.
It would all come on the 3rd week, and it typically, interestingly, is not usually as high a number of sales as if you've got a series of deadlines running up to the final deadline. So really smart to first of all have a deadline, but you don't have to stick at one.
No.
If it's a long-running campaign, it can have a series of deadlines that will help increase your sales overall as well.
Yeah.
So just have a think about that. It's a really cool way to get people to focus on making a decision quickly.
Yeah, we had 2 date deadlines, so it was 50% off and 25% off. But we also had a limited number deadline too. Okay. So we offered the first 10 people to book a free 1-hour strategy call.
Cool.
Next point number 7, is overcoming objections.
Yes. Some of these will be obvious. This is where you've really got to understand your customer, and some of them won't be obvious. I just talked about the guy that potentially comes to the track, doesn't have time to put in an evening meal before they get to bed and get down the kart track. Understanding that's an objection to a sale is really smart, but you've got to overcome all the objections before you get asked in a karting situation. In some B2B environments, and you've got a sales team, they get to ask questions so people talk and they flush out. This is what good salespeople will flush out objections. What we have to do in the kart track situation is imagine that your favourite customers in front of you and imagine every single objection they would come up with, and then also have a think about somebody that's hard to reach that you would like at the track, and imagine every single objection they can think of that will stop them coming to the track. We had this the other day in a video call, you may not remember, so just refresh, but one of the kart tracks I did some work with, I said, I just want a video of you driving from a landmark up to the door of your kart track, so you can see where the doorway is.
Yeah, because that track is got a really tricky entrance, and it's not the only one. I know ones that you put in a sat-nav, and you're taken to the back of the property, and there's no way to get in there.
Yeah. No, it doesn't matter if it's hard to find. If it's hard to find, you've definitely got to do this. But there's so many people out there that are actually anxious about visiting anywhere new. So even if it's the simplest place in the world to go and spot where it is, if there's no signage above, the door that you have to go into, where they'll meet somebody in the reception area who will recognise the name and look after them. People have anxiety about how do I get from the car park to even get up to the place where somebody's going to look after me. So simple things that you would take for granted might be a major objection in somebody's head that would put them off maybe going to the kart track, and they're more happy to go back to the restaurant they love because They know Luigi, will know them by name, remember their favourite dish, sing them a little song, and know they like a bit of pepper on their pasta. So you've got to really start thinking in the mindset of your customer and thinking of objections differently. It's not always the obvious stuff. Quite often it's the stuff they don't really talk about that you have to really think about a lot, and that sort of thinking around what's really stopping your customer. Smart time to think, smart thinking time.
That's right, and I think it's really important that track owners and track marketers understand that their competition isn't other go-kart tracks, especially at the beginning of the buying process. The beginning, because it's discretionary income, the beginning of the buying process is what activity should I spend this spare 50 quid on?
Well, there'll be a couple of things going through their head. What should I spend this money on? What fits into the time available? What is in the local area? Have they been reminded? What do we normally do? How do you overcome the inertia of what they normally do? There's a few things going on there. But in all of those considerations, you're absolutely right. It's not another go-kart track.
No.
It's something else that's stopping them from coming to your track. The go-kart track owners are not your competition.
Point number 8.
Yeah.
Reverse the risk.
Woohoo! One of my favourites.
Yeah. Guarantees work well on this. Offer a money-back guarantee. There are other ways you could do it.
Yeah, I think reversing the risk is all about guaranteeing that somebody can spend money with you with an assurance that if it's not quite right for them, then they'll get compensation in some form or other. And the real trick to this is, if you feel a little bit sick when you've written out your guarantee as a business owner and thinking, I hope they don't claim on this, you've probably just about got it right. The best I've ever seen this done, and one of the events I was looking at was in America. In their guarantee there, it said if you're not completely happy with the 5 days that you're going to spend looking at all this stuff, we will reimburse you all your costs. Not just the cost of the event, all your costs. And I said, you're in America. I rang them. You're in America, I'm in the UK. They went, that's fine. Just hang on to your tickets, your hotel costs, your food bills, everything. We will refund you the whole amount if you're not completely happy. And you think, and I think I had 3 days to decide or something when I arrived. So they were going to let me go there for 3 days at zero cost and have a free holiday in America if I wanted it. They obviously have confidence, and it was a good seminar.
Yeah.
So that's the best I've ever seen done. You could do all sorts of things, so I would actually weave this into the marketing. Go-kart tracks, what's the 2 things they always say they are? They've got what?
The fastest karts?
Yeah.
Or the longest track?
The longest track, right. So we can use some of this. This is where I would start to use what a lot of track owners think is important. I don't think it is, but let's weave it into the marketing. Be warned. Our karts are the fastest in the UK or the country that you're based in. They are the fastest around. If you find that they are too powerful after 3 laps, we will refund you all your money. Now, I just think once you've got people sitting in the go-kart, they don't want to give up after 3 laps.
No, 3 laps, and if you've got to come in after the 3rd lap, it ain't going to happen.
And you've also certainly told them, be warned.
Yeah.
Fastest tracks, and that's like, what a lovely positioning piece. That works so well for reversing the risk, but also pushing your point home that this is the place to be to come and race your karts. So you can be creative with your marketing.
Point number 9 is make it easy to respond.
Oh, yeah.
So by making it easy to respond, it's about having multiple response avenues. So they could email you, they could buy it online, they could call you, they could request a call back, they could send smoke signals or carrier pigeon. I'm not fussed. You know, that's one way to do it. The other way to do it, and you see this on a lot of landing pages, is you have multiple buy now buttons.
Yep.
So as you scroll down and you read the copy, it's got a buy now. Buy now. You don't have to scroll all the way to the end, because some people need more information than others to push that buy button.
More than half I don't even need to look, more than half of your traffic will be coming online, will be coming from a mobile device now. We know that. There was a big change 2 or 3 years back. We're filming this in 2021, and I don't know how many videos are going to be around for. So trying to scroll through lots of text on a mobile people will just stop and go back to their restaurants. They will go and find some. So one of those points you made is about accessibility. The other one's about a range of options.
Which is about convenience.
Convenience, yeah, as seamless transactions. And the other one, and this seems obvious, is make it obvious that there's a way to purchase from you. The best ever piece of copywriting I've ever seen was around a barbecue. It's for a guy that I used to work with, and he's a lovely fella, and he's very big in the world of marketing. So we used to work together, and I learnt a lot from him, and I'd like to say vice versa, but let's be humble. Now, he got sent this thing for a barbecue, and it was 4 or 5 pages, can't remember how many pages on it, and it was superb. And because he's good at marketing, a good piece of marketing catches his eye. And this thing about this barbecue came through, and he showed it me, and I went, this is amazing. I'm like, I'm going to buy this, and he went, no, you won't. And I thought myself, I'm halfway through, I'm going to buy it. I'd already made a decision. I went through. This is awesome. Like, are you going to buy one? He went, well, I was going to try and buy one. I went, what do you mean? Where are you going to buy one from? And I looked. So the things they'd forgotten on the letter was a phone number to put an order in. Oh, they'd forgotten to put the name of the company on. Oh, they'd forgotten to put the address. In fact, they'd forgotten everything. There was no logo, no emblem, no nothing. It was just 4 or 5 pages of this thing where 2 of us were going to spend something like, I think it was about £800 on this barbecue. And 2 of us were going, I think I'm going to get one of these. And like, I know for a fact they got 0 purchases off the best piece of marketing. And even worse, there'll be some business owner, a marketeer, sat in an office with barbecue products going, well, that never worked. After they've just spent a lot of money on their campaign. So make it bloody obvious. Otherwise, it's not obvious. And there you go, there's my Zenism.
Again, the curse of knowledge.
Oh, crikey, it really is.
We know, I know everything about our products just about.
Yeah.
But the customer doesn't.
Yes.
And we've got to remind ourselves constantly that our customer doesn't know the product as well as we do.
Yeah.
We're up to number 10.
That was quick.
Yeah. Give a reason to take action now.
Yeah.
Now, this is like the deadline. This sort of fits in with the deadlines. It's you've got to give them a reason to take action.
Yeah, particularly where there's not a need. So you talked about software in part of this video. It might be a 2-video process, this, but somewhere we talked about software. And you've got a need. So if your operating system's just gone down the pan, suddenly the £2,000 worth of IT equipment and software licenses you're going to have to buy seems like the cheapest deal in the world. But particularly if you're in karting and it's a discretionary purchase and it's stuff that people desire, but there's no reason for them to take action, you've got to give them a reason to take action now. Otherwise, with the best will in the world, they'll file it. They won't get looked at again. It's the equivalent of the emails that you get in your inbox. Yeah. You go, that's a really good email, I'm going to read that later. Now, if I read every single email that I want to read later in my inbox, it would probably take me 3 months now because they're all sitting there, so there's some really good stuff in there. Because they didn't tell me I had to read it right now or gave me a reason, with the best one in the world, I haven't read it. I don't have time for it. No. Even though there's some really good stuff in there.
I've been saving this one woman's content on LinkedIn for a year.
Okay.
And, you know, she writes to me probably every week, 2 weeks, and I've read 3 of them. I read a whole book, you know, but...
Yeah, I do have a cheeky little scan through everything I've saved, but if you don't catch my attention, we should talk about dual readership path another day.
Yeah.
Let's not put it in this video, because we can do a whole video on the dual readership path, because that would really blow your marketing wide open, so we'll do a session on that. But just skimming through, and if they just don't catch my imagination or creativity or spark something with me within 40, 50 seconds, I'm out of there again.
Right, the last point.
Just have a drum roll.
Oh.
Well done if you stuck in with us for this long.
We could have just, you know, got a sound bite and put a proper drum roll in there, rather than your pathetic effort on the table.
What? Pathetic? If you think that was pathetic, write in, and if you think it was awesome, write in too. I'm guessing there's going to be lots of awesome.
If you could do better,
video it,
send it in, and we will use it for a future episode.
We could put them into one of the videos. If you want to be in a video, you do us a proper drum roll. Don't be put off, that's high professional. It'll take a lot of years to perfect that. Anyway, we're at the last point.
Right, stick to your deadlines.
Oh, see this all the time.
This is a great one.
This annoys me.
It does too, because you've always got some guy who rings up the day after the deadline and goes, can I still get it at half price?
Yeah. That's not the bit that annoys me the most, though. There's human nature, and it's really important you stick to your deadline. But how many times you sit in your inbox? I've had it this week. Somebody's making an offer for me to go and get fit. They've obviously seen the videos. No, I need a bit of work doing. And I do. So I was following it, and then they just wrote a couple of times, and the copy wasn't particularly good. And I'm judging them, but we get to the deadline, and I missed it because I was doing other stuff, and I hadn't really run the campaign properly. And then the next morning, I see 24-hour extended deadline, and they're going, some people couldn't get through, and I'm like, no, I don't believe you. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but the fact I don't believe them has just left that feeling in me that I'm like, well, if you don't stand by what you say you're going to do, first of all, then how do you develop trust with somebody you haven't even met yet? And it's just like, I just feel like you're lying to me.
Yeah.
So that really annoys me.
This is the thing, if you don't stick to your deadline, your customers are going to realise this, and therefore your deadlines are going to become ineffective.
Yeah, and once your deadlines become ineffective,
well, your campaign's ineffective.
Sales will drop, because they'll go, it's okay, I'll do it another time, and that becomes the equivalent of the email. I'll get back to that, knowing that at any time, if I just say the words, you'll just go and, don't worry about it. If I haven't quite met the conditions, you'll just do the offer. Well, no way, it doesn't work like that. And it's better for the customer if we stick to our deadlines.
You know, some of these deadlines, they need to be, and the offer to entice you to buy at that deadline, give you reason enough to do it. You know, I think about this, and I've had several salespeople try to pressure me on deadlines, and my response is, look, I'm really not fussed. If I want this product isn't high enough importance for me. If I want this product and I have to pay a bit more for it, then that's okay, but I'm not going to be pressurised to buy on a deadline that basically you haven't convinced me yet that I want or need this product.
But it's about building those relationships, isn't it? And what I mean by that is, crikey, we're going to get to something quite deep now, but there's a real big thing in business. If you just do what you said you'd do by the time you said you'd do it, that is massive in business, and business owners will really highly value that skill set in anybody. Now, because we both know that we're going to do stuff on the time that say we do it, then the relationship builds, and as the relationship builds, we start to, and that works with customers, suppliers, and the employees, and anybody in your business. So deadlines are vitally important to making the whole thing tick and work smoothly. Now, we started talking about how to craft the perfect offer. Deadlines in general like that, but just doing stuff when you said you'd do it is massive, particularly if you're going to make an offer to somebody and perhaps they don't know you that well. Just doing the right stuff at the right time and setting it out as, you know, if we do it by this date, this will happen, and making it happen. So simple, yet so often overlooked.
No, absolutely, and that is one of things I enforce upon our staff here at Fireside, because I know it's not that common in the go-karting industry. So if we can just do what we said we'd do in the time we said we'd do it, we're ahead.
I think it's rare in every sector. Yeah. I've run a few businesses, it's so rare. It's such a big sort of asset to have in all the arsenal that you can hold, all the weaponry you've got in your skill set. Yeah. Just do stuff when you said you do. It's so simple.
I think over the videos we've done so far, I think we keep talking about kart tracks, and we make it seem like the karting industry is not doing these things. Yeah. Well, it's not just restricted to the kart tracks. A lot of the things that we talk about and say is not being done properly, 80% of the businesses out there are not doing the stuff we're talking about.
Well, yeah, I've only got to say, no, I've got to be careful. I've got a really good plumber, and I'll tell you why he's really good is because his name's Scott. No, you're not having his phone number because he'll get very busy. And he's brilliant because I call him up and he tells me when he'll turn up, and he turns up at the times he'll turn up. And if he can't make it because of traffic, he calls me. And that is so rare. But you've only got to think about anywhere with waiting for your car to get fixed, plumber. Lots of the trades suffer from this. My window cleaner, he decides when he wants to turn up for some strange reason. We have a very strange relationship. But if there's ever a window cleaner that turns up and delivers when they say they're going to deliver, he's gone. So I don't know if we want to put that last bit in the video, but you can think about
We better hope he's not watching it.
No, I hope he is. Turn up and clean my windows, and next time, can you do the corners?
Well, there you go. We've given you the 11 steps to craft the perfect offer. If you've enjoyed this, hit the like button down below. And if you don't want to miss out on an episode of Simo and Ed's ramblings, then subscribe to the channel. If there's anything that you guys want us to talk about specifically, put it in the comments and we can have a look at it and might make a video.
And maybe if you take some of the stuff we've just talked about in the last couple of videos here around create your perfect offer and you're still not sure it's working for you, send it to us, we'll have a look at it and we'll give you some feedback and thoughts on it, or critiquing. I know I start banging the table sometimes, but honestly, our bark is worse than our bite.
Alright, well that's it from us for this week.
We'll see you again soon.
We'll see you again soon.
Cheers.
Ciao.